The world first saw a vaccine in the 1790s. Edwin Jenner was a country doctor living in England. He invented the vaccine by taking a sample of pus from a milkmaid infected with a cowpox lesion and vaccinating an 8-year-old boy with it. Through observation, Dr. Jenner saw that despite being exposed to the smallpox disease, the boy did not become infected. A revolutionary discovery. Life before vaccines was horrible. The plague wiped out just about half of the European population. 90% of Native Americans died from exposure to diseases from Spanish conquistadors. Diseases were even used as a war tactic. Infected dead bodies were catapulted in fortified cities in order to kill as many as the population as possible. Epidemics were happening all over the world. Even if an infected person managed to survive, they were left with terrible, lasting side effects. Infertility, blindness, paralysis, physical deformities, the list goes on and on. Vaccinations work by introducing the body to these pathogens via a shot. The body then learns to recognize said pathogens and combat them. People are buying into the spread of misinformation about vaccines. However, in reality, the use of vaccines has eradicated entire diseases from the globe. Children don't have to spend their entire lives in an iron lung. They can catch the flu and live, and they can develop complete immunity to what used to be deadly diseases. More recently, some of the biggest culprits that cause vaccine hesitancy is a lack of trust. A lack of trust within the government, with big pharma, with medical professionals and their agencies. The media is a large part of why this distrust began. The media has given a voice to everyone and allowed people with no credibility to influence populations of people. The internet is filled with websites dedicated to the anti-vaccination movement. These websites are riddled with false information and outrageous conspiracy theories. In 1998, Andrew Wakefield and 12 of his colleagues published a study that claimed that the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine led to developmental delays and behavioral regression in children. It was later discovered that Andrew Wakefield was being paid off by parents and lawyers who were in legal battles with vaccine companies. In 2010, Wakefield and his colleagues were all held guilty of ethical violations, scientific misinformation, and deliberate fraud. Even with this being public knowledge, some people still choose to believe that vaccines lead to autism. It has been established that not only do vaccines benefit children, they also benefit the community as a whole. Vaccines have created something called herd immunity. Herd immunity is a resistance to contagious diseases within a group of people. Herd immunity has led to the eradication of many diseases. To list them, smallpox, measles, rubella, and polio have all been officially eradicated in the United States at some time. However, due to the anti-vaccination movement, measles has definitely made a comeback. Herd immunity has helped to save immunocompromised people. People such as pregnant women, the elderly, babies, people who have allergies, and people who have been diagnosed with certain disorders or diseases such as epilepsy or cancer. There have been numerous cases of immunocompromised people being exposed to unvaccinated people and becoming extremely sick and even dying. To list a few, in 2018, a 4-month-old baby died after being exposed to meningitis from an unvaccinated individual. In 2019, a 28-year-old college student with an autoimmune disorder contracted measles from a contaminated surface and died. In 2019, an 18-year-old student died from pneumonia brought on by measles. In 2015, after finishing a round of chemo, a 2-year-old child and her 10-month-old brother were exposed to the measles virus and had to be quarantined. The list goes on and on. Vaccines protect everyone. Choosing not to vaccinate yourself or your children puts absolutely everyone at risk. A vaccinated person can still become infected from an unvaccinated person. For example, measles is extremely contagious. It might seem mild, having similar symptoms to the common cold, but in some cases it can turn deadly. 1 in 5 unvaccinated people who contract the measles virus become hospitalized. It can turn into pneumonia, encephalitis, or respiratory failure. Even if someone contracts measles and doesn't experience severe symptoms, measles has the ability to wipe the immune system's memory. When the body is infected with the measles virus, the immune system will attempt to fight it off. The measles virus will replace the memory cells. The infected person will now be super resistant to the measles virus. However, since the memory cells have been completely taken over, the body will be vulnerable to other diseases regardless of past immunity. This is known as immune amnesia. This is why vaccinations are so important. We have the power, the ability to save so many lives. So go out and get your flu shot. Vaccinate your kids. Vaccinate yourself. Do what you can to protect yourself, to protect your loved ones, and to protect the community as a whole.